Today we're gonna make an easy shrimp Cajun pasta. I think you're gonna like this one. Here's all the ingredients. Let's get into prepping it right now. All right, guys, I always like to go over the ingredients. What I did with the shrimp, and I'm just gonna tell you that right away, that's half a teaspoon of baking soda. You can put like a teaspoon, it doesn't really matter. Some sites will have like a half to one, basically a half to 1 pound. So since we have 2 pounds of shrimp, I put a half a teaspoon. It tends to make the shrimp a little plumper. I did this in the lemon garlic shrimp pasta. A lot of people asked why I used it. I find that it's better putting the baking soda in. It kind of like, it's like a brine almost. Normally you would just do that with salt, but I used, it's called Slap Your Mama. It's very popular Cajun seasoning. So I bought it, I was away someplace, I don't know where I was. I used 1 tablespoon in here with that half teaspoon of baking soda for 2 pounds of shrimp. We're gonna let it sit. Normally a regular brine, it would just be salt and the baking soda. This has salt in it, hence we don't need any more salt. I have the Trinity right here, which is bell pepper, celery, and onion. I have a lot, but it's gonna cook down, they're gonna soften. 12 ounces of andouille sausage, half a cup of cream. If you don't want any cream in here, you don't have to do it. 2 cups of chicken stock. You know, if you really wanna take the time, remove all the shells here and make a shrimp stock, that would be better. Got a pound of pasta, we're gonna use fettuccine. I have a pound, not a pound of Worcestershire sauce, I have a tablespoon. You know, maybe we'll need to put a little bit more in at the end. And I have green onion for finishing up. We're gonna sear up these shrimp first, and then we'll get to everything else. So I'm gonna heat this stainless on basically about medium heat. I'm about a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna heat this pan up for about 3 minutes before I put the oil down, before we sear the shrimp. The shrimp were dried off extremely well, though no matter how much you dry them off, they're gonna release liquid once you put any salt or seasoning on them. All right, guys, my pan is hot enough. It's gonna be really nice, and I only need maybe a touch of olive oil here. Smoking, so it's hot. It'll be all right. Okay. And get ready to make a mess right now. Just spread them out as best you can. You know, if you want to get super good color on these, you got to do 2 batches. I don't feel like doing that now. I think we're going to be fine with just 1 batch. I'm just trying to get as much as I can to hit the bottom of the pan here. We'll let them go for about a minute or 2, then we will turn them, try to get some of the other side to touch. Looking at my clock here, it's probably gonna take just a few minutes to cook these shrimp. These are U2125 shrimp, so that means 21 to 25 per pound. Maybe 90 seconds, let's just flip them around. As long as your pan was heated up fairly well, let it get hot enough and you didn't put anything down, your shrimp won't stick. They'll move around fairly easily how they just did. So what I'm gonna try to do is just get some of the gray areas to hit the bottom of the pan again. I'm just gonna do the best I can, but it's not gonna be perfect here at all. Whoa, that stuff, the spice, the Slap Your Mama spice, that is spicy or something in there. Putting a tiny bit more oil on. Let's see what's in here. Is there anything in here? Salt, red pepper, black pepper, and garlic. That's it? It's been like 3 minutes total. Yeah, it's just too many in the pan. But they're still looking good. Yeah, they're done. I was just looking to see if there's any not pink, if there's any like gray ones. You can kind of like just search around, give them a touch. They'll be nice and plump. And yeah, these are good. All right, turn off the heat. and just put them in a plate, and then we're gonna tent them with foil. That's a nice, beautiful plate of shrimp right now with the special seasoning. Seasoning is good, I've used it before, so that's why I'm using it again right now. That little tiny pan would not do what we need to do. We're gonna need to fit our pasta in here, we gotta fit our andouille, all our vegetables. All right, so let's heat this up. About 4 out of 10 here, you don't have to go crazy. We're using a non-stick pan, so whatever. You can just put the stuff in right away right now. All right, I'm putting a couple tablespoons of olive oil, probably like 3, maybe 4. And here are all the vegetables. We just gotta get enough heat on these and we're gonna let them soften up. I did things out of order. It doesn't matter. I put the pan that we did the shrimp in right back. I'm heating it up again and we're gonna do the andouille. I put the vegetables that I just put in the other pan on my stove, my real stove. They're over there. They're just on about medium heat and they're getting soft. Just stir them around every so often. Maybe a touch of oil, but there's a lot of fat in that sausage, so doesn't need much. And we just want to get some color on this. This andouille's already cooked. You could just, you could eat it like this, but by getting a little color on it, it will taste a lot better. And the andouille has a lot of spice in it, so that's why we need to be careful with that Cajun seasoning in this, and in case we put too much in. Let's get a nice color on it now. And I'm just gonna flip them over and let them keep going. Okay, these are great now. They got a lot of nice color on them, just perfect. Just gonna put these in the same dish with the shrimp, because we'll add both of them back in at the end. It's like the ultimate combo, the Cajun shrimp and the andouille. Delicious. I'm gonna pull this off, and I'm gonna put my vegetables back on that barely did anything. They barely even started cooking over there. Now they'll cook fast though. We're just gonna let these soften up. They probably will still take that 5, 7, 10 minutes. There is a lot of good flavor in here. It's a ton of fat, and the pan drippings. So what you can do is just try to get a little bit in there. Ideally, you probably wanna make this dish one large pan, get your shrimp going, then your andouille, remove, then put all your veggies inside of here. But, I didn't do it. What you can do is when we put the chicken stock in here, you can heat that pan up again. You can add the chicken stock, a little bit of it in there, deglaze that, and then add it all in here if you want. I do think with all that andouille though and the shrimp, you're probably gonna have enough flavor regardless. So these have been going for, I don't know, probably like 6 minutes. They're not soft enough. I want to get them a little bit softer before we move on to the next step. At this time though, you can start boiling the water for your pasta. Okay, our vegetables are very soft here. I turn the heat down a little bit and the pasta water is boiling. Going to put in 2 tablespoons kosher salt. I'm using Morton's kosher salt, not Diamond. I think if you were using Diamond, you probably need 3 or 3.5. I don't know the exact amount. You're looking for a 1 to 1.5% salinity, that's salt percentage in the water. That's all you're doing here. This is the Checo fettuccine. Use anything you like here. You can use linguine, spaghetti. I'm gonna cook this about 3 minutes less than al dente, and we were gonna finish that pasta for a good amount of time in the chicken broth and the onion pepper mix that we have along with the spices. With the fettuccine, make sure that you mix it really well. Like you stir it for a long time because this one especially really wants to stick together. We have a lot of color on the onions, peppers a little bit. Everything's very soft, very nice, what I want. I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and 2 cups of chicken stock. That's just the better than bouillon chicken base, it's called. Put that to about medium, let it come up. In the recipe, we used 1 tablespoon of this for the shrimp already. And I said, another tablespoon, but you want to build it up because that andouille is spicy. And this is kind of spicy too, so you can just keep adding it. That's all you have to do. So I'll start off with like just 1 teaspoon of it. All right. I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of cream. If you don't want cream, you don't have to use any cream here, guys. If you need a little bit more of liquid or whatnot, you use your pasta water. Save your pasta water always. I turned the heat up a little bit just to get this going a little quicker. It's very thin still, but it will be all right because the pasta is gonna absorb a lot of this liquid now. We're gonna put the pasta in. Lower it to about 4 out of 10. Don't worry about it being pulling it wet. Don't worry. That's what you want. You're gonna need the liquid. So this pasta is not close to done yet. It's gonna need a couple minutes in here. It's gonna absorb the flavors here of the Cajun spice. We can add more spice if we need, and we can also add more liquid via pasta water. All right, we're just gonna let it keep cooking. I just tasted a piece of pasta. It needs about 2 or 3 more minutes. The pasta is way too firm right now. Let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for anyone who wants to learn new skills and invest in their own personal growth. It's also perfect if you have a specific skill you're trying to learn. We've been using Skillshare in our house for the past few months. My wife recently made a major career change and left financial services to join me here at Sip and Feast. And her knowledge of food photography was quite limited, so it was really important for her to understand how to use our cameras, understand basic photography concepts such as aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, and specifically how those tie in to taking good pictures of food. She took the Demystifying Food Photography class with Isabel Namnoum to get her up to speed in areas of lighting, composition, and styling, and this helped us out tremendously. And for me as a lifelong learner, I'm never really happy unless I'm learning something new. Perhaps a music channel in the near future? So guys, whether you're a lifelong learner like me or just a dabbler, Skillshare has something for you. And the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Click on the link to get started today, and thank you Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. And you can see how most of the liquid now is absorbed in the pan. There's barely anything there. The pasta, as it cooks, is just gonna keep absorbing it. And if you feel like you're too dry, you just add a ladle of pasta water at a time. All right, it's pretty much done. I lowered the heat. Pasta still maybe needs a second more. Getting all the shrimp and the chorizo in there. Not chorizo, excuse me, andouille. Let's mix it all through. Add a little bit more pasta water. And we're gonna take this off the heat. The green onion in. It's gonna let the heat of the pasta wilt the green onion. And then do a taste test and then add more of the seasoning to get it just right. I'm gonna need a couple more teaspoons of it. You like what we have here? You like what you see?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. All right, let me get you a couple pieces of the sausage too. Maybe a little bit of peppers. I don't think it's too spicy. You have to let me know about this. You like it? Let's try the shrimp and the sausage. The sausage is spicy. Yeah. I think the shrimps are good. Right?
Yeah, I really like the shrimp. So sausage is spicy?
I think so. I didn't try a piece yet. It was the same sausage I used last time in the Cajun chicken pasta.
Yeah, that's spicy.
So what do you think? What could be better about it? I didn't put any tomato in here.
I think it needs to be like a little bit more, like, I feel like the last time it was like creamier.
It was creamier. Well,
yeah.
I did a half a cup of cream this time, so it gets lost, especially when you're cooking with a pound of pasta and 2 pounds of shrimp and everything. Half a cup of cream is not a lot at all. So maybe if you want it a little bit more creamier, definitely move it towards a cup of cream or maybe even a little bit more than that. But, this is definitely a little bit more, I guess, on the healthier side. It's spicy though. I'm gonna try a bite. I gotta try that shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimp is good.
Check my twirling skills, James. I don't know if it needs any more cream, James. That's pretty darn good like that. Yeah, you think it does? Well, okay. So, James wants more cream. What do you think he gets then, James? 0 to 10. Be honest.
Could I give it like with a half?
Do whatever you want.
All right, I think he gets an 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah. Honestly, I know it sounds weird, but like, I'm not the biggest fan of sausage. I like ground sausage.
Yeah. We appreciate your honest ratings, and I appreciate that 8.5.